How? Like you just said, me going into a new relationship, you know, having a daughter, and because the question could be asked for my daughter, like, why you know, she's never asked that, but like you got me thinking like, well, why things didn't work out? Why can you be this person now and not that person then? And like you got me, wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's a lot that keeps me up at night. Now this is going to keep me up. That question. You know what I'm saying? So
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Wow. Wow.
So you actually
Wow.
you beat me to a thought that I was processing as to why you will be successful. And I want to make sure I present it in a positive light. What are you most aware of about your self-growth that you are confident that I got it this time, I am prepared, and I'm going to make this relationship fantastic? Welcome to the Dear Son podcast. This is a safe space where men discuss vulnerable stories about the fatherhood journey. Now, sometimes those stories are heavy, sometimes they're light, change from guest to guest. I never know until we start the show. I am excited, as I always have been, because I have another amazing guest, because that's all I have is amazing guests on my platform. Welcome virtually, Mr. George Massenburg, to the Dear Son podcast.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me, man.
First off, you know I'm struggling calling you George. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get through it.
Oh no, most definitely.
How was your day, man? What kind of headspace are you in today? Let's get a sanity check before we get started.
Most definitely got to do that daily.
Yeah,
man, I'm in a real good space. You know, good day today at work. You know, fighting through this pandemic within the school systems. You know, trying to just keep all the kids safe and still make sure that they're getting everything that they need from the mental health and everything. That's
wow.
big. You know, so. But just my day is always good. I try to make it good.
Outstanding, man. So let's dive into it. You mentioned that you work in the school system. You're an administrator. We'll build up to that. But let's go back to early days in Hampton, man. Hampton Roads, Hampton, America, wow. Hampton High School, one of the best in the land. What was life like for you early on? I know when I met you in high school, but I don't know much about life before that. What was your life like? What was your family dynamic early on?
Oh man, you know, like I said, I'm a product of Hampton City Schools. Grew up in Hampton. You know, got a younger brother, older sister. You know, learned a lot from my older sister. Taught a lot to my younger brother. You know, so it's like being that middle child. Man, I grew up, man. Both my parents there, military background, so I moved around quite a bit, and got lucky to be. You know, my dad got stationed at Fort Eustis, and I was lucky enough to attend Hampton City Schools, go to Lindsay Middle School, then transition to Hampton High.
Yeah,
most definitely. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, what was your relationship with your father like as a military man? I have a little bit of experience. My dad wasn't in the military when I was born, but he was prior military. What was that life like, and how did that military life kind of shape who you became? Man,
it was daily routines, sort of like what we grow up in now, but it was structure. My father, great provider, you know, but he had that stern military upbringing, you know. It was great growing up, man. Like I said, I moved around to a couple of different places, and I learned a lot. But you know, me and my dad, we had a great relationship growing up. Very supportive. You know, the disciplinarian, along with my mom. You know, but it was my childhood, man. I have no complaints, and it shaped me in a whole lot of different ways. You know,
got it.
Made me.
Yeah, we definitely say it again.
Made me like venture out, because like my life was like an adventure with my father being in the military, going different places. Like I said,
that's a great perspective. So you had two siblings, and you're smack dab in the middle. What role did you play, and what role did your siblings play? Who was the troublemaker? Who was the you know, all the characteristics that you hear in the typical family? Like this one is that, this one is the other. What role did you play,
man?
In the siblings?
I was the troublemaker, sort of like the jokester of the family.
Gotcha.
My sister was the honor roll student, did everything right. I tell her, don't let mom and them know we got report cards today. But
Same.
I was, that troublemaker. My brother was a jokester as well, so we fed off each other a lot of times in situations within the house.
Yeah. My sister is older. It's just the two of us. She's 5 years older.
Right.
I think she had one C on her report card her whole life.
See, they
right,
show
maybe
off on
even
us.
including yeah. So I was happy when she went to college because I could kind of at least get a couple of days where my parents didn't know I had a report card, right? And I may have fudged an F2 or B a time or two, but don't judge me. This is not about me. This is about you. This is about you. What great relationship with your father. What do you think you picked up most from your father that is of the most benefit today? Like what characteristic, what trait?
That dependability, and I could say that right off the top. That dependability, like no matter what was going on, he was gonna be there. And it was because sometimes, man, like disciplinarian, like it's crazy. And I want to say, like, tell a quick story. This is the craziest.
Let's go.
Thing. And I always tell everybody this story. Working with kids. I threw the shot put at Hampton. I'm at a track meet at Todd Stadium. I'll never forget. I'm with the guys on the track team, laughing and joking. I'm using foul language. Crazy. Like, just being one of the guys.
Right.
2 weeks later, we had another track meet at Todd Stadium. I'm in the sand pit getting ready to like warming up.
Yeah.
My dad walked over there to me with the guy that mans the sand pit, before you throw the shot put. You said, this was the guy that you was talking about was using the foul language. And I'm like, I'm taken aback, like, like, yo, hold on. Right then and there. I'm a high school student.
Yeah.
I got chat like on some like it was crazy. And I will never forget that because
He checked you.
Yeah.
Big time check.
But I needed that because it put me back in the right perspective I needed to be in, even when I'm around my friends. It was different,
Yeah, my father caught me freestyling in the house one day. I didn't know he was home. It wasn't a great freestyle, and it wasn't a great moment after he caught me. It was it was all bad, all bad. So you let us in a little bit into your involvement with sports. How much did sports play into your life at a young age and growing up?
Honestly, man, I don't think I'll be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for sports. It was like that whole take a teamwork to getting something achieved, like from a young age, depending on somebody else to reach that common goal. And it's like, as you get older, you reflect on those like lessons that you never knew you were getting, you know what I'm saying? So sports played a big part. I wanted to try everything, like basketball, everything. Just
how did basketball work out?
Man, I was supposed to get into one game. No, this is the true story. And people laugh about it right now when some of us get together. The Boo Williams court outside of Eaton. They gave me a shot to play Future League. 30-some seconds left. I'm about to get in the game. The ball don't go out of bounds. Nobody missed a shot. I never got buzzed in. After that, I said, I'm never playing basketball again. Never playing basketball again.
They rained on your entire parade.
Yeah, most definitely.
Nobody could take a foul. Nobody, man. You gotta talk to them guys, man. They ain't your friends for real. But so what sport did you take to? You started without say you were doing shot put. Football. Talk about that, man, because that's why I met you. High school, you were already engaged, and you were one of the standouts. Talk about football life and how you matured through playing football.
Man, a lot of times people say like I had a great time at Hampton High School playing sports. I mean, I think I was probably like, out of all the guys that we played, I think I'm the luckiest guy because I got to play with those guys, and me not being, as a lineman, not being in the limelight. However, those guys put you in the limelight at any point in time, man. That was like the greatest accomplishment to me. I got to play with some great guys that people talk about right now. And I got real life stories. You know what I'm saying? I played with arguably probably the best 5 to 6 high school players ever in my eyes in history.
Let's talk about it.
You know what I'm saying?
Give them they shine, man.
Yeah, hey, Ron Curry, most definitely. Ron C,
For
like,
sure.
that's Superman to me. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
Like, I played with him from the Tornadoes all the way up until I graduated. You know, he graduated
Okay.
1 year after me. So, like, I won championship after championship, Little League and everything. You know, Ahmad Hawkins,
Yeah, he was
Hawkman.
on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, man, like, Ahmad Hawkins, we played 2 games and Ahmad Hawkins had over 600 something yards rushing and like 8
That's
touchdowns in
nuts.
2 games. And it was
That is
like,
crazy.
and then you go play receiver too. And then you go play
Yeah.
DB as well. You know, like,
At a high level.
yeah, most definitely, Armando Curry Muffin.
For sure.
And Muffin, I had the privilege, like Muffin, that I talked to Muffin today. And the craziest thing about it is, and like, that's my guy. And I say that because when I got the opportunity to become a head coach at Heritage, Muffin always said, if I'm available, I'm gonna be your defensive coordinator. And when I called him and I told him I got the job, Muffin was there. And he was my defensive coordinator my first year ever coaching. And we took a team that ain't win 3 games. And like, they didn't win a game in 3 years, man.
Wow.
And we took them and we won 4 games our first year. And
Nice.
and what I get from, like, and I'm gonna go back to those guys on the team, but what I got from like him even doing that, he gave those guys real life stories about being successful. And like, he's one of the greatest motivators like ever to me when it comes to coaching. You know what I'm saying? And he shut down Larry Fitzgerald. And nobody knows that in the bowl game.
So
See?
you never saw me on the field, so I'm not qualified to talk about a whole lot. But I tell that story with pride. My old CEO was a Pitt graduate, and he kept bringing people in, and I did not waste one moment because I was at that bowl game. He shut them down.
Yeah.
How big is Fitz? He
Like
what,
6'5", 6'5".
and Muffin is 5'8" on a great day.
On a good day.
My bad, Muffin. I know you 5'10".
Yeah,
My bad. I know
But
you
like,
5'10".
but man, so like I say, going back to what we were talking about, Juice, Daryl Smith, great running back.
Yeah.
Bobby Blizzard,
For sure.
Donnell Hollier.
Yeah.
D White. And D White would run through a brick wall on any day. And he was just different, and you can name these guys, man. And those were the guys that were named, but they never ever, like, I had an ego because those guys were great. You know what I'm saying? And I was a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And I was a part of that. It was like, wow, I get to play with these guys. So you had no choice but to be good. Donnie Green, Jerry Green. Like, you can go down the list of people and if you feel like you forget somebody. So football,
for sure.
So football, man, at Hampton High was epic.
Yeah.
Like, epic. Every Friday night, it was going to be something that everybody wanted to see. And you got pride in that. Wearing that jersey is like, there's so much nostalgia even talking about it. You know. And
I envied you guys, man. It was never jealousy, but I envied the bond, the work that you guys put in. It showed on the field. And I'm wondering if in real time, did you recognize how special it was, the way they felt about you and treated you during that time? Or did it make more sense reflecting on it after you've gone through the games and you had moved on? Did you realize what they saw in you and the way they treated you special and why that was? What was it about you? Were you aware of that?
Nah, like, I wasn't aware of it. Like, you never like really aware of things when you're in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And when you look back on it, it's even more special because you still got those bonds with those guys. And that's and you can't take those away. Those memories. You can't take memories away. You know, and sometimes, like, pictures are great memories, but those memories that you have in your head and your heart when you dealt with those guys that you came up with, it's totally different. And the image, those guys knew I was going to, like, the image I think they had of me is, those guys knew I was going to come ball out. Y'all ain't going to let y'all show out. Y'all going to get the recognition anyway. Let allow me get a little recognition.
Get some shine. Get some shine.
But
so what did that take you? You had what I would consider a really good career in high school. What opportunities did that afford you after you graduated?
Man, I was able to get a scholarship to Virginia State University to play football.
Okay. HBCU.
Yeah, I was lucky. And I look at it now because going into school, never thinking that, like, school was important, but I got to school because of football.
Gotcha.
And it was like, that was something I was good at. School was something I had to work at. You know, I never made honor roll my whole entire life, man, until my last 9 weeks of Hampton High School, my senior
Oh,
year.
wow.
And that's because I got a B in Mr. Kaplan's class. Never
Cap
forget it.
Doogie.
Never forget it. Like, you
What
know,
was that?
and
History of government?
government,
Government.
government in
Yeah.
the back hallway.
Yeah.
You know, so I got an opportunity to play ball in college, and I started as a freshman at center.
Okay.
I had a good career, man. You know, I had a real good career at Virginia State, and I love that school, my HBCU, best
Yeah.
school ever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing that I somewhat envy. I didn't go to an HBCU. Wasn't as educated. I don't regret any decisions I made, but there seems to be like this camaraderie, this brotherhood, this friendship that lasts long beyond the time that you're in school, and I appreciate that from the sideline. That's really dope. Were you prepared for college? And the reason I asked you is you mentioned Ahmad, and when I talked to him, he said he was physically prepared, but mentally he had a gap. Can you talk about what that was like for you, or if that was the case?
Man, school never prepares you for being by yourself in an unfamiliar place, taking care of yourself and your responsibilities and going to school.
Yeah.
I think about, just being able, like playing sports, that was your end, so to speak. And actually going to class when you really don't have to go to class because nobody's making you get up and go.
Right.
You got workouts in the morning, but then you think about it like, do I have to go to class? I wasn't prepared. It was numerous distractions. It was numerous opportunities to find out who you were, so to speak. However, I look at it as it's all about what you made it when you was in that moment, so to speak.
Yep.
But I was never mentally prepared. Physically, yeah, I was going to play football. That's
Right.
that's how I got in school.
Right.
So I was going to play ball. And Division II school, Virginia State University, like I said, distractions. It was more so of finding myself, like, am I gonna be responsible? Or am I just gonna be here in that moment? You know what I mean?
Right. Right. So how did you see it as a problem then? Again, like when you're in the moment, we talked about that. At what point did you realize that gap was impacting your life? And how did you rebound from it?
When I found out like my GPA wasn't going to allow me to keep my scholarship, and I majored in English, and my schedule was crazy. The classes were hard. It wasn't like Mr. Scott's English class or Mr. Ryan's back in the day.
Yeah.
It was totally different. And going back to what you just said earlier, I wasn't mentally prepared to handle that. And like it was either come back home and deal with my parents and everything and not fulfilling something that I set out to fulfill, or manning up and actually trying to get myself together. And it took some time. It took summer school. It took summer school again.
Yeah.
And summer school again, but I got myself on track.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't going to be, it was like, what's after this? You got to think about that.
And I definitely want to get to what's after this. But right now it's a good time for this. We're going to take a break right quick. We're going to hear from a sponsor and we'll be right back. What's good, fam? I know you're watching the video right now, but I just wanted to highlight that Tate Whalen is a brand new sponsor to the podcast. TATEWHALUN. Go to the website. You'll find exquisite timepieces. You'll find glasses. You'll find very well crafted beaded bracelets. Black owned, responsibly managed. I purchased several items from them. This is not me reading from a script. I stand beside this company and I wanted to share that with you. Now, when you get to checkout, after you put everything in your cart that your heart desires, use the code DSP, THEDSP. You'll get 20% off. He'll know that I sent you. God bless. Back to the show. All right, we back. So we got through the first few stages of life through college, I think it's a very common story, at least in my circle, in our circle, probably, where there's some struggles. You lose focus, you kind of regain focus, or you don't. In your situation, you chose to regain focus through the work. But let's talk about moving out of college and into the real world. What was that transition like? And I want to build up to where you are today because I really want to spend some time on you working in the school systems.
Most
But
definitely.
right out of college, what did you do?
Right out of college, man, I had the opportunity to work at a school called Bolingbrook Prep in Maryland.
Okay.
I taught the GED writing classes, all of that, and taught some English classes as well, and
Yeah.
really took a liking to being able to get kids to see like the bigger picture when it came to English and reading and writing and the different
Yeah.
things. So I had the opportunity to be in Baltimore, Maryland for 2 years. Then I moved
Yeah.
back home. Yeah. So it was eye opening, young kid, 22 years old,
Yeah.
teaching 11th and 10th and 11th graders and trying to get them to understand that, I've been where you've been and 'cause I'm
Yeah.
just like recently removed and like reading and writing poetry and all that stuff is cool. Just try to get them to understand that.
Have you always had a love for it, or you just good at it?
Um, Man, I think that I took a liking to reading when I can make my own ideas of what I think are actually happening. You know, um, English is like so wide open because whatever you get from something that you read may not be the same thing that I get. However, can you
Right.
support it from what you have read?
Yeah.
So it's a very like intriguing subject. So I always took a
Yeah.
liking to it.
So Baltimore, in in a lot of scenarios, is presented as a very tough city. Um, were you dealing with like inner city youth? Was it really?
Oh
Was
yeah.
it Baltimore or Baltimore County? Because you got
No, no, Baltimore City.
you was
Yeah,
in B
yeah,
more.
and people. It was totally different from what I was used to.
Yeah. So what
Totally
like
different.
what was that culture shock like? If you could paint a picture, and I know you can because you got a command of words.
Oh man.
Like let's go back to and let me see if I can place you. That's 2002,
Yep.
2001,
2002, 2003. Yep.
2002, 2003.
hmm
Bright eyed, new graduate,
Yeah.
jumping into
First real
life,
job.
first real job in B more.
Donnie Green was at the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
it was. If I'm glad, all I can say is this: I'm glad I moved back here. I moved back to Virginia
Mm,
at that time. Um, just being removed from school, my first real job, able to intermingle with different people at different areas in Baltimore. It
yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't. I didn't see any growth, so to speak, meaning that
Okay.
I was having too much fun because this is my first real job, my first real taste of actually
Yeah.
being on my own and taking care of myself. And I was just
Yeah.
having fun. But I ended up moving back home. And crazy story because my dad, when I graduated from Virginia State, he told me, and you should go ahead and just move back home. Stay with me and your mom for a couple of years. Get yourself together, and go back to Hampton High School and ask Coach Smith if you can coach.
Yeah.
After I left Baltimore, guess what I did?
That.
Moved back home. My mom, my dad, ended up
Yeah.
getting a job teaching English at Hampton High, and was the head JV football coach.
So there's a real important lesson, and I've spoken about it before, and I want to hear your perspective as to why that advice didn't make sense to you the first time you heard it. Because I've had some very expensive life lessons not listening to my father
hmm
and also putting so much space between me and my father that the words couldn't connect if they wanted to. So,
Wow, that's
like,
real.
what was it about what
My
back in
dad
that
never,
place?
my dad never said, "I told you so," and never to this day. And I always bring that up. Like
Yeah,
he was right. And as
yeah,
kids, our parents are never right. I got a
never,
13-year-old daughter.
never. We're
Apple
gonna
of my
get to
eye,
that.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm never right in her eyes.
yeah,
After she thinks about it, Daddy, you were right in a
yeah.
joking way. But my father has never said I told you so. And everything he told me I should have did, I
Yeah.
ended up doing.
So let's talk about that because my experience was a little different, right? And again, great father, taking nothing away from my father. And I say that anytime I bring his name up.
Mm-hmm.
I just chose different. How early on was I'm trying to figure out how to put it, right? So you had a trust for your father where you trusted what he said. I mean, you made a couple of different decisions, but how early on in life do you remember that reliance, that confidence in what your father was saying, and just knowing he had your best interest at heart? Because ultimately, that's what my father had, but I chose not to listen.
It was later on, like after I graduated college, everything. Like even now, I know that way back when he had my best interest. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not listening. Like,
Yeah.
I would make my own choices and decisions, but I knew he had my best interest, but like you just said, it didn't take till after I came back home when I understood
Yeah.
it, and I realized
That's how
like
it is.
he never said I told you so, and for like the 8 years I coached at Heritage, he was on the sideline with me, rode in the same seat on the bus with me to every game. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
was, it's a crazy dynamic with my pops. Like I never really remember my pops telling me like he actually loves me, like outwardly saying it
The words.
until I graduated from college. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the first time I ever remember.
Yeah.
And I always tell my mom, and I remember everything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But that was the first time him outwardly saying it because I'm his namesake. You know, I'm named after me. He always say that. That's my name, like so
Yeah.
he read the papers when I was coaching me. I'm in the paper. I'm like, there you go. But
What was if you can pinpoint, what was the most costly mistake associated with not listening to your father's advice?
put myself in debt at an early age when I moved to Baltimore. Like it was crazy. It was crazy
Yeah.
because like what I left was I was having fun and coming back then feeling like I failed. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm
Yeah.
living with my mom and my dad. I've been living on my own since 1998 when I was in college, 97.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, I'm back home. That was the most, like, I put myself in crazy debt, like just having fun,
Yeah.
but that's
What
it was great.
that I mean that's the humbling experience, and we
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
maybe not all, but a lot of us go through it. What what was your mind state at that time? Because somebody's listening to this, seeing themselves as a failure because they're not at the place they think they should be at the time they think they should be there. So coming back home after leaving and being a man is a very humbling experience. How did life during that time play out?
Oh man, it was I was washing cars, trying to start that business up, like just trying to do different things. My mind state was all over the place. It was what's my next move? What do I need to do? Like
Yeah.
you when you start, like I looked at education, like honestly, like I looked at it as like starting my career early. I was like, I felt good about myself when I came home, trying to find a job, trying to get my license, switched over to Virginia, trying to do all of these different things when I'm coming through and I'm living at home. It was very humbling. Like, oh
Yeah.
man, my mind state was uh being 100% honest was like, I don't know. Like that was it. Like, now what? Now what? Let me borrow $20. That was no, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And so it was my mind state was all over the place, but I knew the place I was trying to get to. Like,
Yeah. That not knowing as a as a man, period, not knowing is a it's a weird place, right? Not having the answers for you.
mhm,
But when you start to compound that with, if you're dealing with somebody in a relationship or you bring kids into the situation, like that's been the lowest point of my life when I couldn't look my family in the face because I thought I was failing, right?
mhm, wow,
And it wasn't a conversation.
mhm,
I wasn't in the place where I'm now where I could talk about it or reach out and say, hey, I need help with this. It's getting bad. But when I look back on it, man, I was in some very dangerous mental places, and not having the tools or the courage to talk about it I'm grateful to God
Wow.
that things didn't like like some of those thoughts didn't go all the way through. You know what I mean?
Understand? Yes. Hey. Wow.
Good.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, like I've been there. Talking about. I'm going to say something about my daughter. I got a 13-year-old daughter, beautiful daughter.
Yeah. It sure is, man.
Hey, like that. That's my best friend.
Mm,
She calls me whenever. Like she's over. Like it's the dynamic with me and her mother is totally different. I
okay.
was once married. I was married for a while. Um,
Okay.
and that's a big thing because I have a daughter, and the biggest thing that I learned from our situation is that me and her mother could be good friends, best friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because I have a daughter, understand dad made mistakes. However, like I'm gonna be the best for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had no problem telling my daughter that I messed up, and that was like the realest conversation I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Because she's at that age now where as though she's an eighth grader, she's 13. Uh, I recently got engaged. You know what I'm saying? So
Congratulations.
yeah, yeah.
Congratulations.
So it's
Hold up. You look dumb happy on Facebook. So
man, we're gonna
you
talk.
can't
Yeah,
front on
we
you
can
can't
get
front on that one.
no, and that's like even when I talk about my daughter, that right there was a big thing. I had to have a real conversation with my daughter about the next steps that I was making, and
Yeah.
and my daughter's very articulate. I always say she's gonna be an English teacher, but she says I don't like English. I said, well, you're gonna be a lawyer or something She's
Yeah.
very articulate. And when she talks to me, she'll say, Dad, I want to talk to you for a minute. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know this might be a real conversation. I try to make jokes
Yeah.
about it. It's more so now that the mistakes that I made, I don't have no problem talking to my daughter about them, even though we've had that conversation before, because she knows that it's coming from a place where, look,
Yeah.
she holds me accountable. And the craziest part, when kids hold you accountable, being in education and everything, like you can't let them down. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's my daughter has taught me a lot. It's crazy. And she's taught me a
Yeah.
lot. So
So what is that like that transition from being married,
mhm,
that being dissolved,
yeah.
you're back out in the world in life and you're opening yourself up to another relationship. What's that process like to be prepared for the smile that's on your face now? Like how do you get from that
It,
stage to the void to the next stage?
Let me tell you something, like, and just like, because I appreciate that, like this whole entire platform. After my situation and my wife leaves and my ex-wife leaves and everything, I went through
Mm,
therapy, bro. And the realest thing about therapy, like I went through therapy before people started talking about it. And then I
mm,
went again. It
mm,
was more so because I wanted to find out the mistakes that I had made. And
yeah,
and, and even transitioning now, um, it takes a lot for a guy to say that they messed up to somebody that they created life with. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I do.
It takes
I
it
do.
like if you could do that, that to
Yeah,
me, like you could do anything, man. You can
yeah,
so like just having conversations with my therapist when I went, it
hmm,
was it was what it was supposed to do. It made me, when I left, made me feel like, okay, what else do I need to do to make myself better? Start writing more, start writing in my journal, everything. And
mm,
and going from being married and having fun doing, just having a good time with myself and trying to find myself again and going to therapy, I would find myself in situations that I knew I shouldn't have been in. And then later on I
yeah,
asked myself, like, why keep going to therapy if you ain't gonna try to make that change? It's
yeah,
good for that moment, but it was crazy. And so transitioning, and it is, being engaged in, like, that love is genuine and different
yeah.
because, like, I love myself more. You know what I'm saying? So
That's the point.
yeah, I love myself
Yeah,
more, and it's like, okay, I don't want nobody to feel or go through what I went through
yeah.
at the cause of my mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that's a very key thing Very key thing that you mentioned was loving yourself. Like as men, I'll say for me, right? I'm not all men, but for me, I would numb myself with activities to avoid dealing with the fact that I really wasn't feeling myself. Like you know it, like you know you're off path.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I can get with some other people that's off path,
I'm good.
we won't talk about the path. We just talk about the other BS that's going around.
Exactly.
And I learned late. I mean, this is like within the last 3 or 4 years. I learned that I was fronting in my house. Providing wasn't enough, isn't enough, but that was the measure.
Wow. And I think that's what sometimes like what men think is the most important. I provide. However, it's like just because you're providing, are you providing the things that are essential to make sure your household is good? And yeah, I could pay the bills, you could pay the bill. You know what I'm saying? Those things are gonna be taken care of, but am I taken care of? And I mean, like mentally, physically, like spiritually, everything. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I just got engaged the new year. And the way I
knew.
Oh yeah. And it's, you know, and like providing is important. However, being there in that moment, in that presence, like being able to express yourself and make that person understand like who you are is like more, because you become vulnerable, you know, and men are afraid of vulnerability. And I'm gonna speak for all men. Like, and I hate to say that, we are afraid to be vulnerable. Afraid to be vulnerable, because it's like now you know my weakness, you know my kryptonite, so to speak. And we supposed to be providers, you know. So it's man, like me going through the things that I went through, like really, really helped me out in a way that I didn't expect it to.
Yeah, my wife, and you know my wife, the entire time what she wanted from me was for us to be friends. Not be married, but after marriage, to still be friends. And it was something about marriage, and I looked at the role and responsibility of a husband as a provider and a father as a job, as a duty, not really embracing the family aspect of it, right? It was, I got this thing, I got that thing, I got that thing, I got this fourth thing. If I do 3 out of 4, I'm at 75%. That's good enough sometimes. You know what I mean? But, and that's what I'm saying, this old aha moment was like COVID slowing us down stopped me from traveling for work. I used to go. You know, we lived overseas for a little bit. We came back. When I came back, I was still running around the U.S., still going overseas to do certain things. And I realized, and I said this before, but it's true, people. It's true every time I say it. I was using the travel as a break to stop thinking about what I needed to do at home, right? And if I stop thinking about it long enough, it's not a problem for me.
Wow.
I could just come home and it's moved to the back, and my head is big. Like it's a lot of room back there. It's moved to the back, and it rinse and repeat.
And that's what football was for me when I was the head coach at Heritage. That was like having success and doing well. Like that was my getaway. I'm always in the film room, like always. Like I gotta watch film. You know, but and neglecting the things that I needed to be really, really focused on, because that was my support system. Like me coaching the whole time, that was my support system. Like it was crazy. And when you say what you said, like it goes in the back. Like I'm not thinking about anything. I'm trying to be Hampton next week.
And the sad thing is we justify it, and it becomes so believable that it's like you look at them like, how you not understand this?
Exactly.
Of course I have to do this, right?
Exactly.
Do you what was the impact of your coaching on your relationship with your daughter?
Man, you see and remember the Titans. That's what everybody said. My daughter was at practices.
Okay.
My daughter drove the golf cart around when she got a little bit older. She was on the sideline with every game. We had secret handshakes. I'm doing interviews. She's right there with me, telling guys, hustle up. She had this thing called +2 that she saw on Remember the Titans. You got to run 2 yards past the line where you're supposed to go. Y'all ain't do plus two. Y'all ain't do plus two. That was her thing.
Yeah.
She never missed a game.
Mm.
Never. My daughter never missed a game the whole time I was coaching. Even the 7 years I was at Hampton as the head JV coach. When
Yeah.
when she was born, she's in the stroller. My daughter's mom had her in the stroller. So she loved like football. She loved it. She loved it. And when I
Yeah.
stopped coaching, she was like, "Well, you said you always wanted to do this, so it's okay. It's okay." So
What is it about the relationship with a daughter like a man can understand the impact of how a woman is treated based on his relationship with his daughter,
mm.
but can't get it right with the
you had posted something. About you had put
spot.
something about yeah, something up when you were saying that you had a guest up there, and that it jumped out to me because, like I said, my daughter in eighth
Oh, the
grade.
sins of the father.
So you think that you want your daughter to have a guy like you. That's what. And then you start thinking, if you honest with yourself, you're
I don't know
thinking like,
anymore.
well, like I'm not, nah, I don't know. It's that stuck out to me because of like the things that in my past or whatever that
Yeah.
has happened. And that was profound. Everybody says that, but guys, really think about ourselves, and do we?
No,
No.
I'm like, no. This podcast is getting on my nerves, man, because it, it's forcing me to deal with it's forcing me to deal with me,
Mm.
and I knew how to finesse me before, like finesse my way out of conversations with myself, and like that episode, and I'm 42.
Me too, man.
That guy was 30 and had that level of awareness, and I was
Mm.
just thinking, like, man, 12 years ago,
Imagine.
if I were to be that aware, how much further would my family be along
Wow.
than right now?
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I don't know. I'm in a space now where I'm thinking differently about everything. Right,
Man,
what's really important. You said something about success when you're talking about football, and I want to jump back to that. How did you intentionally redefine what success is,
um,
or have you thought through that?
it's I haven't thought through it, but like it's sort of like you have moments of success, and it's like, okay, um, I want that feeling again. You know,
Mm,
um, I want it again. And coaching, like I said, was easy to me. I played football at the greatest high school, coached
for
at the
sure.
greatest high school, learned from Coach Smith in film sessions. That was like the most intense. Hands down. I don't care. I was at, like I said, Division II football, Virginia State University, the greatest university ever. Film sessions, right? Nothing was like it being in the film session with Coach Smith, Coach Mann, Coach Mitchell, like learning the game.
Hmm.
And the realest thing that Coach Smith ever said to me, like I was living at home when I first came back, like at my mom in the house, you going to church on Sunday? Well, I'm the head JV coach at Hampton. Coach Smith had film sessions on Sunday. Coach Smith told me, Jesus knows that you watching football. That's why football's played on Sunday, right? And that moment, that was like, I'm like, whoa, that moment right there though, when I had to explain that to my parents living in a house, trying to get myself back on track, like made a pact, like I'm going on Wednesday, Mom. As long as I'm living in the house, I'm going to Bible study on Wednesday,
Yeah,
you know. But I'm gonna be there so I can learn. But I learned so much just watching what they watched, and that success translated over to heritage.
yeah,
Um, out of 8 years, man, I was coach of the year 6 years in a row in the
it's
Peninsula
dope.
District, and it was not that that's what we worked for. I wanted to win because that's what I was accustomed to. You know, I wanted to win, and I wanted my young men because I downtown Newport News. It's bigger than football. I'm only here because of football. Use football like football. We're gonna use you.
Mm,
And we prided ourselves on, man. those years that we there, those 8 years I was there, man, we got 23 kids in Division I and Division II scholarship football. Not counting the kids that went to D3 and things like that, but it was more so taking these kids to camps, giving them different experiences.
Yeah.
You know, so they could see things that they never seen before coming from down there. And that was like that is what fueled my fire. Working in the building, teaching, all of that, you know.
Paint the picture for the listening audience that may have been under a rock and don't understand 757. Like what, downtown Newport News, how would you describe it and its impact on the people that you were coaching?
Oh man, like one of my students told me, like he said, Coach Mass, we don't even have a 7-Eleven down there. You know, he said, I can go to 7-Eleven, get the candy I want, and go to a store downtown, and they don't even, it's nothing that looks the same 5 or 6 blocks up the street at this store. And that was the realest thing that one of the kids that told me, because he was in tune to what was going on around him. Like, oh my gosh, like it's a different dynamic. And
yeah,
it's a different dynamic. And what I mean by that is when you come home from work, I'm using an analogy. When you come home from work, sometimes people sit in their comfortable chair and they don't want to move. They get comfortable. And living, you get comfortable in the way that you're able to live. And sometimes you may not want more, but you look at what it could be like, but you're comfortable because you're sitting in your comfortable chair after work.
Yeah.
And I wanted my kids to know that. And down working at Heritage, I wanted my kids to know that there's so many opportunities for you, even if you have to create them for yourself. You get what I'm saying? So like football was the avenue for a lot of us. I always look at that 2017, 13 of us went to school on scholarships. 13.
Yeah.
You know, and those weren't scholarships. And that's why I said those are opportunities. Now, what you gonna do with the opportunity?
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
Because football ain't gonna always be there. You know, so that was my thing that I hung my hat on at Heritage, man, and I had some great guys working with me. So, you know, beat Hampton High 4 times out of 8.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different era, one could argue.
There you go.
Definitely a different era.
Coach Smith was still there. That's what I always tell everybody.
Well, you should put that on your resume. Coach Smith, well, he just retired, right? Just retired after the last season?
That's big too, though. But
yeah. So football has been in your blood. Coaching has been in your DNA. I'm always interested to know when people perform at a high level or successful at a high level, and I can see you people, like which one more informs the other? Does coaching more inform the way you parent, or are you a better coach because of the way you parent?
Oh, dang. Wow. Like that question right there, that's that. I learn as a parent every day. And when you coach, you're trying to teach somebody something different every day. So as a parent, I learned something. I have like I keep on saying, I have a beautiful daughter, like very, very smart. And it's days that I feel upset because I haven't connected with her like we normally would. You know what I'm saying? So, however, that I have to figure out how to way to coach her up, so to speak, to say, I can't be mad at her. Look, I can't be mad at a player for making a mistake. you know, so I got to coach it up. So I always like, you ain't called me today. Well, I was doing such and such. I was doing such and such. But I saw you was on Instagram, like you, right at that call, you know. Well, I was gonna call you back, but it's more so. As a parent, you're a coach. A coach is nothing but a motivator. Like even like I say that all the time. Like everybody can motivate somebody to be better, and that's what a parent is, man. My daughter makes me a better coach though, because I got to find ways to connect with her, different ways. So I can't get on this player like this, like Coach Mitchell can fuss me out. Coach Mann to come talk to me in a different way, and I get it. I get it both ways. I get it now. But you said it differently, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But you got to the answer though. That makes perfect sense.
yeah.
What what scares you the most about being a father at this stage in her life? You going into a new relationship, like there's several dynamics that life is. You know, you're at the intersection of a lot in
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah.
What what keeps you up at night?
Ooh, wow. You took that like where you were going with it. Like that, I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting the question. Wow, wow, that's a real question. Like, yeah, I'm thinking about that. What keeps me up at night? Like, wow, hold on. Like,
These are all things that I like I told you, it's getting on my nerves too.
wow,
Like
like,
when you stop long enough to actually think
and I
about
and
where
I'm
your life is,
mhm.
yeah,
And I'm not even trying to like think about it to give the correct answer. I'm thinking about it because it's different things that keep me up at night.
yeah,
It's different things, and wow, like you just said, me going into a new relationship, um, you know, having a daughter, and because the question could be asked for my daughter, like, why you know, she's never asked that, but like you got me thinking like, well, why things didn't work out? Why can you be this person now and not that person then? And like you got me, wow, wow. hmm
yeah.
hmm So it's a lot that keeps me up at night. Now this is going to keep me up. That question, you know what I'm saying? So
You're welcome.
I appreciate. Wow, wow,
So so you actually
wow.
you beat me to another a thought that I was processing as to why you're why you will be successful. And I want to make sure I present it in a positive
hmm
light. What are you most aware of about your like your self growth that you are confident that I got it this time, I am prepared, and I'm going to make this relationship fantastic.
I got to be consistent in my ways.
Mm,
And like right now, man, like I've come up with this thing I call it the high five theory, and for the past like 7 weeks, I high five myself every morning in the mirror, and I be looking at myself now like making jokes, but in that mirror, I high five myself because that high five, I do that in the hallway at the school. That's
mm,
like signaling like, yo, okay, you're doing your thing, So
yeah,
like I said, for the past 8 weeks, that's what I've been doing, and I make sure that I do that.
yeah,
I have to be more consistent in my routines. I can't be all over the place, and the things now, like I'm old. I'm a whole lot older,
yeah,
and I've experienced things that we once thought that were fun and exciting. Once you get old, I don't want to do nothing but sit in the house, watch TV, you know, uh,
yes,
play the
sir.
video game, and I don't want to be out and about.
Yeah,
I don't want to do those things no more.
yeah,
I'm in a place now, man. Like I'm happy, and for like I always tell my dad and I tell my mom, like I'm genuinely happy, and still growing and learning. I'm still gonna make mistakes, but
yeah.
I'm happy.
So I am. I would suggest I'm newly happy. And it's
Good.
not because I was in a like my environment has been bad, my
hmm
home has been bad, but I haven't allowed myself like I've literally put so much pressure on me to create a lifestyle that I want, but it might not necessarily be what my wife wants. Like I'm projecting all of this.
Share
We need to
responsibility, share
we need to
everything.
be here,
hmm
we need to be there, we need to be retired, we should have all this and I'm literally gauging myself and judging myself and projecting this disdain, this frustration onto my family because I'm not accomplishing the things that we haven't even agreed to as a family.
No, so it's those are your accomplishments, and sometimes,
Yeah,
like,
these
yeah,
yeah,
it's not. You have to think about it as a whole. How it's going to affect other
yeah,
people as well. And I learned that like that's every day. Like I'm responsible for irresponsible people being in the school division.
say that again. I'm responsible for
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
irresponsible people.
yeah, for real. And it's different because like I always say this, like the pandemic has affected kids and people in general, and in so many different ways. So whatever was going on in your household, it heightened. You know what I'm saying? Like it heightened it, and like empathy and what you just said about those necessarily might not be the goals of your family. We realize that now, and that's what that has to become a daily routine. That's what I say. The things that I realize that I make mistakes, I'm gonna incorporate that in my next day, so I don't make that mistake again. That's gonna become a routine. That mistake ain't gonna be a mistake no more. You know what I'm saying? If I do it, it's because I was consciously thinking about doing it. You know, so it's man, it's just crazy. Like even like working in the school, when I say responsible for irresponsible people, because parents send their best to school every day. It's not like they can go in their closet and choose a kid. Oh, I'm gonna send this kid today. They sending their best, and regardless of what goes on, man, you got to be responsible for their safety and everything in the school building. That's why I say I don't let nothing disturb my peace while I'm at work, because things gon' you know. So it's crazy.
You seem to be in a really good place, and I'm not placating. Like this is like seeing you on social media is one thing. We get the best of people, right?
Most
Unless they choose to show other, but like you, it's good to see you.
These young, man. Hey,
one black man to another. I'm glad to see you happy, man. I'm happy for you, for sure.
It was steps to get there. Like I'm pretty sure you know, man. I can genuinely be around people, man, and be me, and not care because like when you see me again, it's gonna be the same person, and so like I always, it's the Head and Shoulders commercial. And I got this from Coach Man. I'm gonna make a first impression every time I see you. That's what Coach Man. That's what Coach Man says. Like, so when you meet Coach Man, you never forget him. You know what I'm saying? The first
that's
time.
Smart,
so and that's where I take everything right now, man.
What's your what do you have you identified what your purpose is? And it could have been football, or I definitely think football was a passion, but are you in tune with what your purpose is?
I'm in tune with my passion is, and so like making my passion my purpose. I'm crazy about education, and and not doing well in school at an early age, but then doing well when I went to college. Majoring in English and stuff like that. Just being imaginative, writing my thoughts down, and then going to get my master's at ODU to be in leadership, like whole different realm. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I fulfilled my purpose yet because I haven't affected enough kids. And that's the real, like that's like no facade, like just being open and honest. I think that I had some great people, man. Like some great people pour into me, even when I ain't have a cup. I'm like, I'm not even trying to like deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But they poured into me. And regardless, somebody try to pour something, you ain't got a cup, it's gonna get on you. And it's gonna stick a little while. You know what I'm saying?
Spicy.
Yeah, no, like really, man. Like, and I always tell kids that, man, like always. Coach Mash, you always on me.
Yeah.
For the same thing. Do something different. Do something. I always tell one of the kids, don't wear your hat and your hood in the building, man. Do something different today. Let me get on you for something different. Move from that. Growth. I don't care what type of growth it is, and you can't get used to growth because it's gonna make you uncomfortable. It's like really uncomfortable. So you taking your hat and your hood off, you uncomfortable now. So but man, I've learned a lot from the kids, and that's the crazy part.
Yeah. What thing are you most proud of when you look in the mirror?
Wow. I'm gonna be honest. Knowing that like I've grown up since 38 to now, I've grown up. Like And when your mom say, "Oh, you a big boy," you a big boy, you know what I'm saying? Picking with you, you know. But I've grown up, man. Like I really, really have. It was like becoming like a school principal, assistant principal. That's I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm not supposed to be. No, yo, all the stuff I used to no. And you know what I'm saying? It makes you want to do more because now what? Like people set goals after you set a goal. Now what? Now what? And that's what we get stuck in and puts us in that mental space where sometimes we get messed up because we don't feel like we're stuck, we're stagnant. You know.
You made a point, and I don't want to breeze past it because you said, summarizing, what am I doing in this position? Mm-hmm. I shouldn't be here, but it makes me think I can do more. A lot of people think the opposite, right?
Wow.
Like if you're not qualified to be somewhere, you feel like you're faking it, mm-hmm. and you're scared to go to that next level because if you don't feel you're adequate in your current space, how do you aspire for more, right? But I think,
wow.
And like no, you said that.
I know, but I mean, you said it differently. It made
yeah,
like,
well, I mean,
yeah, but
it's easier to hear somebody else's thoughts and kind of reframe them. But I'm just thinking about me, like, man, I share that, and it's not patting me on the back, but what do they say, right? My parents are very strict religious as well, right? But it was like, say, God doesn't call to qualify; He qualifies the call, right?
Wow.
So my duty is to be productive, to do the work, to implement the knowledge that I've been given in this current space. But I always think I can go to the next one.
Okay. Wow.
Always think I can go to the next one. I think that's really interesting that like that dynamic of feeling like you're inadequate, but knowing that there's more. That's a perspective to hold on to. That's growth.
Amen.
Because the opposite suggests that each day, you know, each day is better than the next, right? You're getting progressively worse. Like that's not a path to be on.
Of course not. Of course not.
That's dope, man.
And
You're a dope brother, man.
I'm trying, man. It's hard, so to speak, but once you realize that in order to become better, you gotta like do things different. I keep on going back to that. And even like this workout thing, like I stopped working out and I'm like, and it's like little things, but those things connect to everything because if you're passionate about one thing, get that same passion in something else. You know, like I'll put the video game down. Like, I gotta get on the game tonight. People, you know, but sometimes I'll be like, man, I wasted like a whole 2 hours messing with this and could have been doing something else because I forgot about something when I get to work. So I'm like, you know, but what you're doing right now is like, this is a safe space. Like this, like genuine conversation that, you know, and I've thought about a lot of things that I said, and I've thought about a lot of things that you said and how you put it back to me, man. When you create a safe space for somebody, you open up like different channels or like open up different things to make other people think about things. And you made me think about a lot, like even with this conversation. It's crazy because now that may keep me up tonight. And I'm going back to, you know what I'm saying, to what you said, because we have to, and like males in general, we have to feel comfortable with talking about the things that we're not comfortable with so we can overcome those things. So
very new for me, man. Mm-hmm. So I'm just here to share.
Yeah, you're doing it. This is dope. This is dope.
You know,
this whole thing is.
This is the part that I hate because I look at the time and I'm like, we it's so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We didn't even really get into administration and how that shaped and molded you, but I think this is a good first conversation, and I'm saying that prophetically.
My man, please.
Suggested that there'll be another one, but I want to follow the journey of a few men, right? Mm-hmm. Tap back in with them every couple months, maybe twice a year.
Most definitely.
But I want this is not just content for me. Like I'm really on the journey. I'm trying to figure me out.
Wow.
And
but I'm gonna say this, man. You got people in tuned, and you got people. I'm like, hold on. Some of the things you just post is like, Okay.
I've been
Okay.
going through.
When you was talking about you like being overseas and stuff at one time and not thinking about, I was like,
Sacrifice my family for money. Trade my family for money.
And that right there, nobody gonna let nobody else know that because it's a sign of weakness. And it's like me, I tell everybody, I tell all my friends, I think therapy was the best thing for me. I went to therapy before people was like really, really like talking about the mental health therapy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And I really appreciate this, man. I really, really do.
Cool.
And hopefully hopefully I can come back because that administration thing is crazy. Maybe I'll be in Atlanta or something then.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna come shoot where you are.
That's a whole different story.
Come follow your day and like because the next phase of this for me is documentaries, and I'm committed to doing to at least starting one this year. I'm still trying to frame it out, but I just want to tell beautiful Black stories responsibly.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, man. With me and Nikisha, right? Friends since 6th grade.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna give you a tidbit. I went in her inbox and said, if I come to Atlanta, can I take you out? She always laugh and joke with me. I turned 40. She sends me a cake to my job. I don't know who it's from. Right? So I ask her, if I come to Atlanta, can I take you out? She tells me if I'm free. In my mind as a man, I'm thinking, if I come way down there, you better be free. You know what I'm saying? But a year and a half, 2 years ago, man, I went down there and it's been like, got my best friend back. She always say, Chubby, you make me laugh, Chubby. But that's a whole nother thing. It's crazy.
Yeah. So for the listening audience, the orange you guys, or if you're watching, like me calling him George, like I only did it once, right? I never called your name again because I don't know if you moved on from Chubbs or not, but he was Chubbs. Yeah, he was Chubbs. Now he's this, this sprawling bedroom eye, runway model.
Yo.
That man looking the part right now.
I work out like crazy. I was on it. I was on it. I got to get back on it. I used to work out like crazy, but walk 5 miles a day every morning. But got to get back on it.
Yeah. Man, it's been a blessing. It's been a pleasure. We definitely going to reconnect, man. Let the people know how they appreciate it. Yeah, let the people know how they can find you, your IG, and any information you want to give out. Go ahead.
It's a __ love chasers. Okay. Trying to get the podcast talking about Black love and Black relationships. Shameless plug. I apologize, but no. But like that's my goal. Everybody got a story, and everybody. What you have done with this right here, I appreciate it, man. This right here was like a session, like you know what I'm saying, get some things out. But I definitely appreciate it. But _ love chasers. Follow my ladies page, Oshi Couture Hair. Gotta big her up. Have to.
We'll put all the information down below, man.
I appreciate this, man. I really do.
It's not a shameless plug, man. Whatever I can do, my platform is still infancy, still growing, but however I can help. My wife and I have another podcast in that space. Most definitely. So if there's any way we can help be of assistance.
Healthy marriage is dope.
Marriage is dope.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I love it.
That's where we're at. Let me take a moment to address the listening audience. So for my listeners on the audio platforms, if you're on Spotify, you're on Apple, Stitcher, any of those, please make sure you're following this podcast. Please make sure you rate it if the platform allows it. For those that are on YouTube enjoying the visual experience was good. I hope you've gotten a lot from this. I hope you got busy in the comments. I hope you've subscribed to this channel and click the notifications as well. Is there anything else you want to leave the people with?
No, man, I just appreciate it, man. The milk from back in the day. Never forget that. Never forget that. I got pictures in my senior book from that. Like, I'm never going to forget that. Basketball
Shout out
games.
to Doogie and Nasty Nash, man. Shout out to those guys.
The basketball game, pouring in the rafters.
What's up?
Yeah. But I appreciate it, man. I definitely, we have to, definitely get together again.
For sure. We're going to shoot live next time, man. I told you, man.
I'm with it.
I'm at it. All right, family, I appreciate you guys. God bless you. Peace.
The Dear Son Podcast is produced by D. John's Live Studios. All rights reserved. Don't forget to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. We'll see you here next time.